A little camera issues. So this is not my normal camera, but hopefully I look all right and not too fuzzy. If you could in the chat, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. If you could press a one in the chat. Do you hear me? Do you see me? Awesome. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. Everybody else, if you could press a one in the chat if you hear me, see me. Awesome. Okay. I'll take that as a yes. Everybody's looking like they can hear me. Great. Before we get started real quick, I'd love to have you do a little engagement in the chat here and let me know what part of the country you're at, what city you're in. I'm in St. Louis, right outside of St. Louis on the Illinois side of things. Nice, lovely, sunny fall day here. Love this time of year. And I'd love to hear where you guys are at. Okay, we got some folks from Idaho, Florida, Maryland. Nice, nice. All over the country here. Great. Uh, Arizona, Hot Springs, Arizona. Okay. Okay. I've never been to Arizona. I told my wife I want to do one of those RV trips, rent an RV and she's like, yeah, I'll pass on that one. She wants to go to the beach. So, but I'm bound to do it. It's on my bucket list here. One of my friends just did it with his family and had an amazing time. So let's get started. Today's webinar is going to be about how to improve your visibility in AI search with social media. And I'm sure we're not all blind to the AI search revolution and all of these different AI platforms that are out there. You're hearing about it, you're seeing about it, and you're wondering, am I doing enough for my business to be able to have that long-term success with AI? And one of the topics that I've covered recently in the I think 2 months ago was about AI SEO and then how to use AI for your reputation. Today's topic is going to be about AI search for social media and how that will support all of the AI search results that people are getting. And so it's going to be very directly related to the multiple search platforms that are out there and social media platforms out there. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of those different platforms. We'll have additional ones as well that we'll talk about. Google Maps, even a social platform. So that's what today's topic is going to be about. If you have any questions during this time, feel free to drop them in the chat there. I will stop and ask the questions, but there'll be plenty of time at the end if you have specific questions about your business, about your social media presence. And ultimately, if you want to have a strategy call with me, that option is available for you to dig in and ask very specific questions about your business that you might not want to ask here. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you here. Just want to make sure everybody can see this. If you could in the chat, just put a 2 in the chat. If you can see my screen, that should say how to improve your visibility in AI search with social media. Okay, thank you very much for the engagement. Again, stop me at any time if there's any questions that you might have related to the topic that we're going through for today. What we're going to cover is very specific topics around AI, how AI is determining what companies are getting recommended and how social media will play into that strategy for you, not only in 2025 here, but as AI search continues to evolve. It's a very rapidly changing environment. And so we want to make sure we're doing the things that we know now. If I don't know something, I'm not guessing here for you, okay? These are things that we're actively doing for our clients and doing to raise that visibility in AI search with social media. So number one, consistent name, address, phone number across your platforms. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the multiple platforms that you can use. I mentioned some of those earlier. We're going to talk about YouTube and video and content optimization around there. Believe it or not, YouTube is the biggest second biggest AI search engine out there. And Google is number one by far, but AI search is very impactful on the YouTube side of things, and it is a social channel. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some review generation side of things and how that relates to some of the social profiles online. We're going to talk about community partnerships and link building. And so that's more so on the SEO side of things, but it comes into play on the social media. So I'll show you how to connect all that together. And then we're going to talk about some content and case study strategies of how you can do that sort of content on your website, on your social profiles to link it all together to make it easy for AI search engines to recommend your company. And then we're going to give you a 90-day implementation plan here so that you can take these actions and get to work for your business. Okay. And like I said before, I'm gonna be upfront and transparent. If it's not working, I'm not doing shiny objects here. We all get enough of this crazy stuff. Oh, look, try this, and guess on it. These are active things that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. If you could just give me your attention for the next 30, 60 minutes here. I've got a lot of information to share with you. There will be a recording and some resources available after this, but you're going to get a lot out of this. Again, my name is Sean McMean. I'm the founder of Vinnie Mac Restoration Marketing. We're coming up on 10 years in business in the restoration space, and we have over 65 clients across the US. I think that number is real close to 70 right now. We just had a client sign on just before this webinar, amazing client, of an amazing person we're going to be working with. So I have lots of industry experience and literally truly have been impacted twice in my life by the restoration side of things. My house burnt down when I was younger, 6 years old, by a lightning strike. And so I've been a homeowner with that. On the flood side too, my basement flooded and totally trashed the whole thing. And, so I have a personal experience on how you guys impact homeowners and businesses. And so that's where my passion comes from, the industry. We have a podcast and book, and that's enough about me, but this is why I do this. And clearly, we work with a lot of clients across the country, from franchises to independents, and we've had a lot of success. And I'd like to share with you some of those tactics that we're doing on a day-to-day basis, because ultimately my goal is to help 100 plus restoration companies in 2025. And last year I had a goal to I think it was 55, 75, somewhere around there. There are whether we work with you directly or you get some information out of this webinar, either way, I hope this will help you, and this will help me accomplish my goal of helping 100 restoration companies this year. So there will be some free resources for you, copy of my book that I wrote. There'll be some checklists and video replays from all the other webinars that we've done in the past. Ultimately, I believe many of you are here because you're wanting to improve your results for your business. If you could, in the chat, if you want to get more water damage jobs, mold, fire, those situations, in the chat, put a $. If you want to get more, ultimately, it's one of these situations. Yeah, the $4 actually, for sure. No doubt about that. We want more to be able to provide for our teams, our families, and help the community, right? And so ultimately, we need to understand what strategies we need to focus on. And we all know there's tons of competition. There's high cost in this industry to get your phone ring, and there's up and down results. And so we're trying to implement a strategy that is giving you a situation where you can level up over time. There is no magic bullet, no quick wins in any business. And somebody that tells you going to promise you something in 30 days, they're probably full of it, right? So what I want to do is make sure you understand that there is a roadmap here. And really what it's about is getting that roadmap in place, about increasing your visibility, your branding, and your reputation, so that you show up on AI search and you show up at the top of the page in your local market. Those companies that do that are getting the bulk of the work that's out there, right? And so what we're going to do here today is turn you into a situation where you're not just relying on pay-per lead or referrals, and turn into a situation where you become the best known company in your area when someone searches, whether it's on AI or social media or Google search. So that's the ultimate goal of this. We have 3 key strategies that we follow in our company here when we work with anybody. It's about raising visibility. Top of the page, if you're not at the top of the page, you're invisible, right? And so that's number 1. The second is building a strong brand so that AI will trust your company. And that's difficult for a lot of independents. It's even difficult for franchises. So on the local level. Then the next component of that is building that solid reputation, because no marketing works without a solid reputation for your company. I've done a recent webinar about many of these topics, and so you'll get replays of those after this. But today's focus, again, is how to improve your visibility on AI search with social media. Okay, so let's talk about why AI search um, what the ecosystem looks like. And ultimately, there are a number of AI platforms out there that people are searching. It's ChatGPT, it's Perplexity, it's Google AI overviews, Gronk, and Gemini, and there's tons of them, right? You don't need to necessarily have know all of them, but ultimately, all of them are looking at different components and different signals in order to trust your company. And so many of those signals I've listed here. Do you have social proof signals? Do you have reviews, engagements, mentions across platforms? They're looking at those. They can visit those platforms. AI is a machine, right? And it has endless possibility and computing power. So it's not like humans sitting and reviewing all this information. It consumes tons of information. And so you need to have social signals across your platforms. You need to have in the second section here, it's entity recognition. And basically what that is your name, address, phone number consistent across all of the platforms that you have on social side and your website and Google Maps? Do you have community connections? Are you engaged on a local level? These are things that people honestly neglect. I did a video recently about community parades. A parade costs $75 usually to enter for Halloween, Thanksgiving, whatever those things are, right? Many of us have branded trucks. If you have a branded truck, put a one in the chat. If you have a branded truck and you're not in a community parade, driving down the street and throwing out candy, you're missing out on a big opportunity to get eyeballs on your company. Okay. And then as you sponsor that parade, you're going to get a backlink from a local organization to your website, to your Maps profile. Huge signal that Google trusts and AI search trusts. Content freshness. Are you active in multiple environments? Are you doing video? And do you have a multi presence across multiple? So let me just make sure we got video turned off for everybody here. Okay, cool. So that's the ecosystem. After this session, I would love for you to do a quick test for your company. Do you show up on Google for your brand name on social profiles? So you go to google.com, you search for your exact brand name, and from that, you're going to look and see if you dominate that first and second page. If you don't, you have an issue that's going to impact you on AI search. So you have to, and that's where all these profiles are going to come in play that we're going to talk about here. Okay. So do that test afterwards. Write it down on your piece of paper, search brand name, then search the top competitors that are out there in your area that you feel like are your top competition. I would venture to guess if you think they're your top competition and they're showing up, they're going to dominate those first two pages with multiple profiles, and that's how they're winning in AI search. So let's talk about the number one thing that you can control, and that is the consistency of your name, address, phone number across the ecosystem online. And that includes your social profiles. Does your name match up across all of the profiles? That is critically important. If there's an ink on one, there's a services, a restoration on the other, it looks like multiple different companies. So when you want to, if you want to make another action item here for yourself, look at all your profiles out there. Is it consistent? Is that name, address, and phone number consistent across those profiles? Many of you probably have tracking numbers for your company, and that's okay to have a tracking number across profiles. We do it ourselves because we want to measure the effectiveness of that profile, and is it generating phone calls and revenue for our business? So a lot of times you can put your tracking number as the primary number and the secondary number as your main office number. But you want some consistency across all of your profiles. Do that test after this. Check Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Yelp, Nextdoor, Angie's List, website, your email signatures even. That is a critical component because if they all look different, you're going to have struggle with AI understanding that all of the signals that we're going to talk about today are about your business and not some other named business that's closely related to yours. Okay. We all know that in this industry, there's lots of different ways to say restoration business, right? Or whatever your company name is, and they're very closely related. So the consistency is key here. Okay. That's the foundational component of it. We all know that Google Business Profile, hopefully we know that that's an important ingredient of your visibility online. And it is a social profile. It truly is. There's posts that you can do in there, there's reviews that you can do, and there's content that you can update in there. And it is the foundation of Google's AI search and what Google's looking at in order to trust you on those overviews. It is a foundational component that you have to have updated. So every section within there, if you don't have water damage restoration as your primary category, and that's what you do, it needs to be the primary category. You can have many secondary categories, but water damage restoration is typically the number one. You need to be doing multiple posts a week. And these are fresh content that come across the profile, talking about your services, talking about the locations you help people, and getting fresh content out there. I would be updating multiple photos across your profile. You can update those photos even on the job site, so they're GPS tagged when you're adding them to your Maps profile. You can also respond to reviews within 24 hours. That's an important component on Google Maps profiles. And then define and put in your descriptions your neighborhoods and cities that you're helping people in. Here's what I'll tell you is many of us have a wide service area that we cover, 30, 40 miles, right? It's very difficult to cover that in Google's eyes. They want to match a local search to a local company. So focus on that 10, 15-mile radius around you for this optimization on your Google Maps profile. Okay. And then there's a question and answer section on Google Business Profile. This is where you can put in frequently asked questions. You can put those in as a business owner and then respond to them as a business owner, right? And so think about this as not keyword stuffing or throwing in like generic terms like, do you handle water damage restoration? But talk about very common questions that people call you about. Are you open 24/7? Do you handle with billing insurance? Do you, this whole laundry list of questions that you can put in there, but make sure that's not generic and more so about location and services and relate those together. You can put unlimited number of questions answered in there. So focus on that for the Google Business Profile side of things. Here's some examples of posts. Again, these are not, the less professional they look, the better off you're going to be because you're going to stop the scroll there. But one of the other things I want to point out here is Google Business Profile has the ability to connect all your social profiles within your Google Maps profile. So have that as an action item to follow up with for your profile to make sure those are all linked in there. So when you're doing these things we're talking about today, Google can easily find your social profiles. Okay. The next thing is review platforms and that multi-source sort of trust signal thing. It used to be that Google was by far the most important out of everything. Not so on AI search now, okay? Certainly Google's AI search, they prefer Google, but the other search platforms are also looking at others areas like Yelp. They're looking at Facebook, Nextdoor, Angie's List, Home Advisor, Thumbtack, BBB. They're looking at all those profiles to create a full picture and not just rely on Google business profiles or Google Maps profiles as the number one trusted source. Clearly, we want to make Google the most important for where we add our reviews, but you have to sprinkle those out on other profiles. If you do that search that I talked about previously for your brand name and your Yelp profile comes up and you don't have any reviews on there, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to be missing out on some AI search. Because Google is looking for multiple reviews across multiple profiles. Okay. Obviously, you need to respond to those reviews. And if you leave the job site, the chances of you getting a review typically drops about 50%. So I would typically recommend having a QR code or tap code or something like that so you can get those reviews. And the important aspect of the review part of this is getting them on the profiles, but then sharing these reviews across all your social profiles. Okay. So think about you get a positive review from a homeowner, you get that on your Yelp profile, then you post that across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn with links to that Yelp profile review. Very, very positive signal. And this is going to help you with multi-source trust signals that you're looking for. Okay. I'm not sure how many of you have used Nextdoor in the chat. Have you used Nextdoor? Do you have a Nextdoor profile? Type in Nextdoor if you have a Nextdoor profile in the chat. If you don't, just type no. I'd like to see how many of you actually have a Nextdoor profile. Nope. Okay. You have 3 Nextdoor profiles. Okay. So a Nextdoor profile, Nextdoor is obviously very local community-based platform. If you haven't looked at it, at least have a profile for your company. You don't necessarily have to do the ads. They do have ad platforms, but at least create a profile for your company. And you can do posts in there. You can claim your profile. You can do multiple. You can set your neighborhoods that you're looking for. You can even do local sponsorships and ads through there. I wouldn't say it's the number one source of leads for that, but it gives you a very localized presence and a good AI social platform around Nextdoor to show that you help these specific neighborhoods and you're part of that local community. If you're on that profile and somebody asks about, who do I call for water damage, you're going to be able to get, if you're following that community, you're going to be able to get alerts on that so that you can offer up your company or whatnot. So Nextdoor is something I would not sleep on. I wouldn't throw a bunch of ad dollars on it, but it's a platform you want to set up and optimize for. Facebook strategies. Okay, so on the Facebook side of things, let's be honest here. Facebook, who goes to Facebook for help with water damage if you have a flood in your home? You don't. You pull up Google, you pull up an AI search, you do those things. But Facebook is a very trusted source across multiple search platforms, and it's going to continue to be so. And think about it as this third-party verification thing of you say you do this on your website, you say you do it on Google Maps. Where's these other sources saying you're doing this and you have the reputation? So if you have a Facebook profile, fill out all the information. Make sure your name, address, phone number matches. And AI searchers scrape this data across Facebook. You want to be posting on this multiple times a week. You don't necessarily have to do 3 to 4 if you have a lot of information to share. I highly recommend the more the better. But an important aspect that usually gets missed on Facebook's profiles is we'll put a photo out there, we'll do some text on it, but we don't link back to any of our other assets or any of our other online profiles. We don't link back to our website or Google Maps or to a Google review. Those aspects, you got to link all of this stuff together so it's easy for these AI platforms to trace down. Okay. If you're on a job site, go live. There's no harm, no foul. The less professional, the better. Don't script it. Go live. Hey, this is a water damage issue we have in here. Go live and post that on your social platforms. Your team can do that. You can train them to do that. It's a great source of new, fresh content. Okay. And then when you do join community events, make sure you're sharing that across Facebook and across your profiles. And Facebook does have the ability to add your services in to the profile there. So if you can fill out all that information too, it's just more information for your profile to be more complex and filled out. And the next category, everybody still with me here? Everybody good? Thumbs up? Yeah? Okay. So on your LinkedIn strategy, make sure that you have a LinkedIn profile. You have a company LinkedIn profile and you have a personal owner LinkedIn profile. And your team can have LinkedIn profiles that are linked to your company. Okay. So talk about your certifications on there. It's a much more professional sort of environment, but it's a great source for connecting to other local businesses. Follow the plumbers, the insurance agents, the property managers, the real estate agents around you, right? So they're seeing your content, they'll follow back. Again, nobody's going to pull up LinkedIn for a recommendation for a water damage restoration company, but it will help support all the other content. Okay, that's the goal of social media, is to support the other content that's more valuable at the top of the page, which is Google Maps and AI search results. Okay, so there's some insights onto LinkedIn. YouTube, second biggest search engine online, right? And it is owned by Google. These are some of the things that you can do for YouTube. You can do long form content, you can do short form content. And in that content, you want to base it off of common questions that people would have about your company. Why should they choose you? What type of services do you provide? How long you been in business? Are you certified? The common types of issues that you see. Why there's tons of different things that you can cover here, and here's some examples that I've shared there with you. So the important aspect on the YouTube side of thing is when you create these videos and you put it on YouTube channel, you're going to share it on your website. You're going to share it in other social platforms too. So it creates this spider web effect and connects everything together. Now, if you're like me as a business owner, you're probably like, damn, how do I have time to do all this? Right? How do I have time to do all this? There's no doubt. There's priority list of things, and I'm going to share with you that priority list here shortly. So don't get too discouraged here about, oh, how am I going to be able to execute on all this? But here's some strategy on the video distribution side of things. So it kind of breaks down 8 different sort of sections here. You can do 10-minute videos. And this is sort of like, well, I'm going to plan out everything I want to talk about. The key on these long videos is you're going to break it up to multiple videos. Okay. And so what I like to do is block off time and do like a bulk video, and then that can be broken up into multiple videos. So when I do this webinar for you guys, what my team will then do is break this up into shorts, other videos, recordings, all of those sorts of things that you can then distribute across over the next 30 days, right? And you do this in a time blocking manner so that way you can work ahead and you're not waiting last minute to do all this. So this is sort of the cross-platform strategy that I highly recommend that we execute for our clients. It's very difficult to plan something professional, but it's easy to pull up a phone and put the phone in your face or your team's face and just start recording and talking. Those will stop the scroll and have more impact than anybody you go out and hire a videographer to do that. So that is our strategy for that. As far as your website content, how does this fit into the old AI and social media side of things? Honestly, there's 4 components here. Number one, there's something called review schema or schema for your website. This is very technical, but hear me out here. AI will look at the technical schema. It's called local business schema, and within that, you want to put your social channels that you have within that schema. And again, it's something technical that goes behind the scenes of the website. You never see it, but if your website is missing that, then it makes it harder for Google to understand all of your other platforms and the other AI search engines to understand all your other platforms out there. So if you have a website person, you have an SEO person, ask them, are my social channels in my local business schema? It's an important question you want to ask there. And if they're not, you need to get them in there. The next thing is on your blog content and local educational content. So typically 2 to 4 posts per month is ideal here. Make it very service and location-based type content. And so you can do local guides, seasonal content, how-to content, specific jobs that you've done. And I'll talk about case studies in just a second here. But once you create this content, if you're not sharing that specific link to that content across your social media profiles, you're missing out big time on that content. It's no longer good enough to just create a bunch of content, throw it on your website, and leave it there. That doesn't work anymore. You have to share it across all your social platforms. Okay. As far as local case studies, this is a critical component that I see missing on a lot of companies. So think about all the jobs that you've documented, before and after images, all of those sorts of things about a job you did that ultimately got submitted to an insurance claim, right? So take that, package up that content, and talk about that job on your website into what we call case study, where you talk about before and after. You don't have to put specifics on the client's name, their address, but talk about the neighborhood, the city, and the service ultimately there, and then share those case studies across all your social media platforms. Okay. And again, it goes back to the heart of what search is about and what AI search is about and what Google search is about. It's about people having a problem and they need to find a solution to that. So think about that homeowner in Scottsdale, Arizona, or Hot Springs, Arizona. I believe someone said that. If you've talked about a water damage job that you've done in a specific neighborhood there, it makes it very easy for Google to recommend or AI search engines to recommend, okay, your company. So embed those videos on those blogs that we talked about and make sure you do service pages and share all of this content across your social channels so that AI can pick up on it. As far as community integration with all of this, again, this is a little bit more on the SEO side of things. Hot Springs, Arkansas. My bad. I'm sorry. I thought you said Arizona. Sorry about that. AZ. I saw AR. Yeah, it was AZ. Sorry about that. Um, on community integration with all of this, you want to get local signals, and then those local signals will be shared across all of your platforms again. Oh, good. Yeah. Thanks for that. So with local integration and local link backlink strategies here, the important aspect is join your chamber of commerce. Most chambers, it's around $450 to join that chamber of commerce. Get the ribbon cutting. Okay, do all of the things that come around that. Okay. Some larger companies it's going to be more because they charge you based on the number of employees, but do all of those things. It is a gold mine to have this link back to your website and then share a blog post that you created about this, do a video about it, all of those things across all your social platforms. Okay. And what AI search is looking for is local companies that are part of the community so that they can recommend you. Okay. And so if you're missing out on a chamber link, and if you have a wide territory, get multiple chambers. Okay. These are very high quality local presence links that can help you. BN groups, networking groups, BBB association, those are one of the things that BBB I think is a little bit more expensive, but it is a very trusted backlink. If you've ever had issues, here's a little tip for you. If you ever had issues with your Google Business Profile verification and you don't have a Better Business Bureau link with your address on there, 9 times out of 10, that's why Google's not trusting that verification. Okay. So something to look at if you've had some verification issues there. Sponsor local teams, sponsor local events. Think about the Little League baseball team that is looking for sponsors, $250, $500, some shirt sponsors, whatever that is. I know a lot of this adds up, right? But is a very local link that you can get on the local baseball website, right? That links back to and then what are you going to do? Share it across your social channels, right? Sponsorship from education resources, sponsor scholarships, colleges, $250 a yearly scholarship that goes to support your cause, whatever that may be, is all great. And then charities, Humane Society, those sorts of things, food banks. And again, the key of this strategy working is you want to make sure that you can not only give back and sponsor and being part of the community, but you have a vested interest of getting that sort of local signal, which is typically a backlink from their profile to your profile. Okay. And then share across your social profiles. Okay. So this is a critical component of AI search success and social media circling all of this together. All right. As I said before, get the sponsorship link, ensure the link is present, amplify that across social platforms. This is sort of that step-by-step strategy there that will help you connect all the dots together for AI to give you that trust. Okay. Now, the next thing here is local media and PR authoritative backlinks. This is something that is very difficult sometimes to get because there has to be something newsworthy. So joining the chamber, joining the BNI group, joining different associations and sponsoring things. If you can write a story and send that to your local news outlet, you're going to get a high likely chance to get picked up because they want local relevant content. They want you publicizing and advertising content. But if you're celebrating 10 years in business, right, and you've helped X number of homeowners with restoration services, that is a newsworthy event that you can absolutely share with media and news outlets. Okay. Local newspapers are high authority links. And then when that article gets published, what are we going to do? We're going to share that across all of our social profiles. Okay. So you can take part in press releases. You can do sort of community blogs. If there's a realtors are big about bringing in resources across their social profiles. If you see a realtor out there that they're doing live videos and visiting businesses, reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to do a guest spot with you, right? And get mentioned on their profiles. So Those are very authoritative backlinks that will then share across your social profiles that will help you with AI. And then the physical to digital bridge here. I talked about if you have vehicle wrap, make sure you are taking part in local community events, doing yard signs, um, door hangers, email signatures. So the important aspect of all of these things is you can take photos of these. You're out on a job site. You got your team. You got your sign in the ground, right? You got your truck out there. Take a photo of that. Share it across your social channels. Okay. These physical aspects are commonly overlooked, and they provide a strong local brand present signal across your social profiles. Okay. QR codes, you can certainly do those for reviews. We send out all of our clients business cards with the QR code on the back, so their team can put it right in front of the client's face to get that review right on site. Okay, so those are, hopefully that makes sense there. Another strategy that I recommend on local content is emergency response type content. Think about storms that happen, helpful content related to those storms before and after. Posting a picture of a radar image of a storm coming in and things you need to be prepared for that. Those are things you want to share across your social channels, all of your social channels, so that way you can have more activity on there. Those posts typically will get a lot more likes and comments. We're not chasing the likes and comments necessarily in this industry, but they don't hurt. What we're looking for is new relevant content. And so if those profiles are dormant, these are easy ways for you to quickly post something out there. As far as content, what to use in AI search content when you're posting on social, when you're posting on your website. These are some examples here. You can take a screenshot of this, but service-based keywords, location-based keywords, trust signals like IICRC, licensed and insured, direct insurance billing, free inspection, those sorts of things are important. But if you're not certified and if you're not in BBB, I wouldn't use it, because if it doesn't correlate, then you're not going to get an advantage out of that. So as far as problem keywords, we all know of these, the type of keywords that you can certainly use in there. Let's talk about weekly action plans and how to measure success. Okay. So as far as a weekly action plan, I still got everybody here, right? It's 38 minutes into it. My voice is probably going to be gone after that, but that's okay. If you're here, press a one, you're still listening, you're getting some value out of this. Give me some encouragement there, Vicky. Thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. So your weekly action plan here, this is a little bit of a guide here of how you can kind of approach this. And I'm talking spending 10, 30, 15 minutes on a daily basis on these sorts of things. The best thing to do is plan ahead, plan 30 days ahead. So block out some time on a specific day that usually could be a down day, and make sure that you have a plan to execute on different types of posts and different types of things. And so in order to track the metrics of these things, you're looking at your Google Business Profile Insights. There's a performance tab in there that you can look at. You can look at social engagement. And then you can honestly go out and test, like I had mentioned before, test your brand name in ChatGPT. Does your company show up for it? And if it doesn't, you're typically not connecting all these dots that we talked about this webinar here. Okay. So common mistakes to avoid and quick wins that you can start on today. Okay. We're going to try to go hand in hand with these. Inconsistent name, address, phone number. We talked about how to figure out if that's an issue for you about searching Google, searching AI. If you want to have that profile as consistent as possible across those, and if it's not, those are things that you can check off your list. Inactive profiles. If you haven't posted or shared any information on a profile recently, it's a big issue there. Okay. Ignoring reviews and not responding to reviews, not responding to poor reviews. Those are recipes for lost signals and lost attraction there. Generic content, that is very important. You want to be talking about your location with that content and being helpful. and think about it this way. People consume and search different ways now. They use voice search. Like, I've got a flooded basement. Who do I call? Who can help me with this? Right? They don't go out and search water damage restoration. They search on the problem that they have. So the content that you can create that's related to that and sharing it across social platforms is going to better your chances of showing out there. Missing location data, that's kind of a given there. If you don't have an address on your Google Maps profile, you're going to struggle with visibility in this industry. So if that's a case for you and you're doing marketing and you're saying it's not working, if you don't have an address on your Google business profile, that's a big issue. So make sure that you come up with a plan to address that. No video content. You gotta have some video content out there, whether it's once or twice a month or not. That's you've got to be able to do that. Some areas to win, obviously, consistent nap, some question and answer across your business profiles, a couple minute, 2 minute videos, and then claim your Nextdoor page. Add your social links to your email signatures if you don't have them. If those social links are not on your website, make sure they're there. Make sure they're on the Google Maps profile as well. Okay. So those are some wins there. This is the ecosystem, that AI visibility ecosystem that is really driving where the results are coming from. Okay. And so we talked about a ton of different information here. Okay. We talked about the foundational components, the social media side of things, the video, the reviews, the community, the content, the media and PR, the physical side, having a branded truck, yard signs, those things. And then we talked about emergency response with radar images on your profile. Okay, those are all. This is the ecosystem that drives what is being shown on AI, and social helps support all of this. So when people say I don't get any jobs out of social, that's false. It's truly false, because social supports everything else you're doing around your company. Okay. And if you get a recommendation, if somebody asks for help and somebody recommends your company, usually you're going to pull that up in Google and search that company too, right? So you've got to have all these other profiles out there to help support that recommendation. So, this is the ecosystem I wanted to share with you here. And when you do this, this is what happens when you do this. These are geogrids, and these are visibility for specific clients that we have. And you can see here they're showing up and getting recommended across Google's platform. They have a chance to win the jobs because they show up. Okay. That's the key here. You want to show up across multiple platforms. In order to do that, social media supports everything on the Google and AI search platform. All right. Here's your 90-day action plan here. Take a screenshot of this if you want, but basically it breaks down the first 30 days of things I would look at, the next 30 days, and the 61 to 90 days here of things that you can look at. Okay. And ultimately, I hope you got some value out of this. I hope you got some information that looking at things a little bit differently on how social media supports everything else we're doing here. But I would love for you to take out a piece of paper. If you're still with me here, I'd love for you to take out a piece of paper and jot down the top 3 things that you're going to look at for your company. And then right next to those things, write down the name of the person that's going to help you, whether that's somebody on your team, whether you're going to have a marketing team now, reach out to them. You can even reach out to me. Okay. Obviously, I would love to have a conversation with you specifically and give you some advice. Whether we work together or not, I believe it's important to give back and help everybody level up together. So that's why I do these webinars. But I don't want to have a situation where you join for 45 minutes here and you didn't take any action. So I want you to write down 3 things that you're going to do to help make sure your company succeeds in AI search by using social media. So I'll go back just a second here. You can kind of see those things. Would somebody like to share with me one thing that they're going to look at, whether it's a test, whether you're going to join the chamber, in the chat there? I'd love just one thing, if you would share in there, something you're going to look at, the test. Okay, great. Yep, do that test on AI search and also on Google search for your brand name first. Try not to do water damage restoration, your location. Focus on your brand name first. And if you dominate on brand name, you have a much better shot of dominating on more competitive terms. Okay. Chamber of Commerce. Yep. Awesome. Any other things that people are going to look at for their company? My goal is to do a lot of the videos, and the videos get more traction on image posts. Absolutely. Case studies. Yep. Yeah, Jenny, those case studies will go live on job site. Go live on job site is a big one. It'll, and if you connect your Instagram profile to your Facebook profile, you will then be able to go live on Instagram and it'll post on Facebook. So try that, April, if you connect your Instagram profile and share that across, it'll share across Facebook for you too. So please, please, please take action. I love this quote from Thomas Jefferson. Never put off tomorrow. Never put off until tomorrow what you can do today. I really hope you got some value here from what we talked about. We do help a lot of companies across the country, and we have a comprehensive marketing system that we do this for on a daily basis for our clients. Our team is so passionate about this. I'm passionate about it. This is our strategy that I told you about: visibility, branding, and reputation that we do for our clients. And if you have any specific questions, this is not certainly I would love to partner with you if everything lines up. But if you have specific questions and I can be helpful for you, you can go to restorationmarketing.com/calendar or give us a call at 314-582-5210. And we'll be able to talk specifically about your strategy. We will have a replay, and all the resources I promised you we're going to be at restorationmarketing.com/2025. So replay will be there along with previous webinars, checklists, our book, podcast links, all of those things. As I promised you, those are some resources that are going to help you long term here. We've done about reputation, we've done about case studies, AI search, a lot of different things there. So if you have any questions, again, you can reach me at in the chat here. It looks like we got a question here in the chat. Let me make sure. Okay, so one of the questions in the chat is it helpful to add service relevant keywords in the picture of metadata in your website and blog posts? It doesn't hurt, but I wouldn't go out of your way to go crazy with geotagging images and all that stuff. If you're live on site and you have your Google Business profile on the app on your phone, you can certainly upload a picture there and it will geotag it there. But I wouldn't go crazy with it. I think the AI systems and platforms are smart now. They know there's tools out there to kind of do this fake geotagging stuff. But where you can on the metadata side of things is every image that you add to your website, you can have something called an alt description. And basically what that is a short description of what the image is about. If you don't do that for your images on your website now, you're missing some opportunity there because it's part of the code of the site, and AI systems will consume that code. And AI can look at images now, but if the image alt text describes the image, it's less time that they have to spend decoding the image versus consuming the rest of the page. So hopefully that makes sense there. Are there any other questions that you guys have in the chat there? If so, go ahead and add them there. And if you need a link to schedule, I'll put that in the chat. That's where you can schedule time with me. And I'll also put in the chat here the resources where you can download all of our checklists and everything in there. Okay. So those are some resources in the chat there. Misty, Matthew, Jim, Jenny, do you guys have any questions? Do you have anything that I can answer specifically for your business? Zach, do you have anything? Okay. Looks like everybody got information overload today. So there will be a replay. We'll send that out to you after this session here. Usually takes us 24 hours to get that out there. Jenny had a question. Okay. What about adding videos to your service pages? Yeah, 100%. If you for all of our clients, we'll do a video for their top services, and we'll talk about how they number one, the service. We'll talk about the locations. We'll talk about their process. You take that video and then you add it to your YouTube channel, and then embed that video into your service page. and then share that video across your social channels too. So that will help strengthen that video's visibility. Ashley, I do have a question. Hopefully that helped you there. Ashley had a question. If you were filming on job sites, do we legally have to have the owner's permission to do so, even if we don't include them in the video? That's I'm not a legal expert. Um, Ultimately, you're documenting your jobs for insurance purposes and all of those things like that. But I always go into the mindset of um, typically the homeowner called you because they had a problem, right? And you came out there and helped them. And if you want to make things on the up and up and not try to like you're doing something that you feel comfortable doing, ask them from a helpful manner, saying, "Hey, we want to help other people just like you." And the best way we can do that is to do some videos of how we helped you. And I'd love to get a video testimonial for you. But if you don't want to go on camera, that's totally understandable. Um, but we're a small business and we want to help other people that experience the same problem you have. And approaching it that way instead of saying, "Hey, we're going to do this video, share across our social media channel," I think you'll have a better time there dealing with that conversation and make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable about it. So, obviously you don't want to show of people's houses like right on front, their address, all of those sorts of things. But if you're doing a close up of the specific issue, um, we have never had any issues necessarily with that. The only thing I would look at is if it's for an association or some sort of partner that you have, and I would get some okay with them if that's part of it. Like if it's a housing development type thing, or if it's a property manager or something along those lines. Those are a little bit more things that I would probably put some things in place for that. But Jim had a question. I'm hesitant to go live on job site because we don't identify the business or home the public. Yeah, it's one of these things that you can still go live whether it's in front of your truck or whether in your truck or on the side of your truck, and just not have the identifying aspect of it. You can say, "Hey, we're in this neighborhood," or "We're in this area, and this homeowner had this issue." Again, try not to overthink these things because ultimately, it's something that I think we can always, as business owner, I tend to overthink things a lot. You can ask my team. I have to think it through before I execute on it, right? But something like sharing your experience real time with your community and on online, as long as you're not blasting the a mold situation of a business and their logo, I don't see any harm in that. But again, I'm not a legal scholar here, so good question. Yeah, signed content release. Yeah, you can certainly have a signed content release when you do the work authorization that we use these photos as part of our social media or content strategy to help other people like you. I don't think that's a crazy ask for it, right? But yeah, we have had success once we shared with business where they thanked us. We didn't share their location, logo, etc. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ultimately, it's people in your community want to know that you're a good resource when they need you, right? And so do the AI platforms, so the AI searches, and so do social media platforms, right? So content is still king, but when you overthink content, it can seem daunting and very hard to execute on. So if that's you, try not to overthink it, but still take into consideration of people's privacy and things. So awesome. Well, we're right at the top of the hour here. If there's no other questions, we're going to end the webinar for today. I hope you got some value out of this. And I hope you take action here. I hope you had a chance to write down those three things that you're going to work on. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at restorationmarketing.com. And until next time, until next webinar, this is Sean McMean, and I hope you got some value out of it today. Thank you. Yeah, no problem, Ashley. You're welcome.